We created man from a mingled drop to test him, and we gave him the gifts of hearing and sight. Surah Al-Insan 2. Those who defend evolutionary creation try to show the statements in many verses telling about the creation of man out of water as evidence of their claims. However, such verses are always interpreted by Islamic scholars and commentators as referring to creation from the joining of a sperm and an egg. For instance, Muhammad Hamdi Yazir Abel Mali interprets verse 2 of Surah Al-Insan as meaning, he was created from a nutfa. The nutfa is basically pure water. It also means seminal fluid. Nutfa and seminal fluid traditionally have the same meaning. But at the end of the Surah Al-Qiyamah it says, a nutfa of ejaculated sperm, Surah Al-Qiyamah 37. Thus stating that the nutfa is part of the semen. As it is reported in Sahih al-Muslim, children do not come from the entire fluid. And the hadith, speaking of every little part of the whole, does not say every part of a fluid, but rather speaks of one part of the whole fluid, and that a child does not come from the entire fluid, but from just one part of it. The nutfa is just one pure part of the semen. Ibn al-Tabari interprets it as meaning, we have created the descendants of Adam out of the mixing of male and female fertilizing fluids. Omar Nasuhi Belman explains it in this manner. We created man from a mingled drop. We have formed him out of the male and female fluids that mixed together. Yes, human beings were, for a period of time, a nutfa, in other words, crystal clear, pure water. And then for a certain period of time, an alaq, in other words, a clot of blood, and then a mudga, in other words, a lump of flesh. Later, bones are formed and wrapped around with flesh and come to life. As we have seen from these explanations, there is no connection between man's creation from a mingled drop and the theory of evolution's claim that man emerged by stages from a single cell that developed by chance in water. As all great Quranic scholars have stated, this verse draws our attention to the fact of creation inside the mother's womb. When we examine another verse where the stages of human creation are explained, the fundamental error in these comments is clearly revealed. Mankind, if you are in any doubt about the resurrection, know that we have created you from dust, then from a drop of sperm, then from a clot of blood, then from a lump of flesh, formed yet unformed, so we may make things clear to you. We make whatever we will to stay in the womb until a specified time, and then we bring you out as children so that you can reach your full maturity. Some of you die, and some of you revert to the lowest form of life, so that after having knowledge, they then know nothing at all, and you see the ground dead and barren. Then when we send down water onto it, it quivers and swells, and sprouts with luxuriant plants of every kind. Surah Al-Hajj 5. In this verse, the stages of the creation of a human being are described. The first stage is the earth, which is the raw material that includes the basic minerals and elements in the human body. The second stage is the coming together of these materials in the seminal fluid, which is described in the Quran as a mingled drop. This drop contains the sperm that possesses the genetic information and structure necessary to fertilize the egg inside the mother's womb. In short, the basic raw material of human beings is the earth. The elements contained in the essence of the earth come together in a drop of sperm in such a way as to give rise to man. It is made clear in the verse that the water stage is immediately followed by the developmental phases in the mother's womb. The theory of evolution, on the other hand, assumes the existence of millions of hypothetical stages, such as the first cell, single-celled creatures, multi-celled creatures, invertebrates, vertebrates, reptiles, mammals, primates, and countless intermediate stages between the supposed origination of life in water to a human being's formation. In the sequence presented in the verse, however, it is clear that there is no such logic or description, for a human being takes on the form of an alaq after he or she is in the form of a drop of water. For this reason, it is clear that the verse is not describing the different evolutionary stages supposedly undergone by man, but rather the stages of creation from before and inside the mother's womb right up to old age. Other verses stating that human beings and other living things were created from water also contain no meaning that could be used to support evolution. The verses clearly state that the drop of water is semen. He created the two sexes, male and female, out of a sperm drop when it spurted forth, that he is responsible for the second existence. Surah An-Najm 45-47. Was he not a drop of ejaculated sperm? Surah Al-Qiyamah 37. Man has only to look at that from which he was created. He was created from a spurting fluid emerging from between the backbone and the breastbone. Surah At-Tariq 5-7. The verses reveal that water is the raw material for living things by saying that all living things were created from it. In fact, modern biology has revealed that water is the most fundamental component of all living bodies. The human body is approximately 70% water. Water permits movement inside the cell, between cells, and between tissues. Without water, there would be no life.